68 degrees the temperature in Syracuse right now. Looking over towards Rome and Utica, 66 degrees, 70 in Watertown, 66 Oswego, 70 in Ithaca, and 68 degrees in Penn Yan. Precipitation-wise, we're keeping it clean and free of precipitation on the live scan of the triple Doppler. I don't think it's going to stay that way for the entire day. I'll show you why in just a moment. First, I want to talk about the current state of affairs temperature-wise and some of the more smaller items, the nuances of the forecast. Dew point is 53. We'll go into more detail with the dew point in just a moment. Air temperature 68, relative humidity 59%. Winds are calm for the moment and our pressure is falling. See that dew point, 53 degrees by our central New York standards. That's actually not that bad. It's in the range of dry to pleasant. I suspect we may nudge up to pleasant to ever so slightly muggy. We'll call it mid to upper 50s on the dew points today. What does that ultimately mean? Well, it means that we're pulling back the rains a little bit. You may remember this time yesterday morning we were talking about how muggy it's going to be on Sunday. Well, as is often the case with a warm front, things have slowed down a little bit, so it looks like the warm front won't be nudging up our way until a little later on this evening and especially tonight. But with that being said, warm fronts can be very tricky, so here's the general setup. Satellite and radar picture confirms short-term, nearly full-blown sunshine for a good chunk of us. Going to start to get back into a few more clouds. As you can tell, they're drifting in from the west and northwest. The front is very loosely in here, and I use that term loosely for a good reason. Warm fronts are very diffuse, they're spread out, they're not very well defined, and what we become more interested in are the little waves of energy that ride along it. And that's what I'm keeping my eyes peeled on out towards Michigan and southern Ontario, Canada, seeing how that develops and how it's going to translate or move down our way. So here's a futurecast, going to pick this up at about, the middle of today, and note our futurecast doesn't flare up a single storm. I'm not 100% confident that's going to happen. Rather, I would go with an isolated shower or an isolated storm, not full-blown planned cancellation material, but certainly keep an eye to the sky kind of material. You're going to notice those fair weather clouds billowing, and one or two of them may look a little more ominous than the rest of them. Hour by hour through this evening, warm front passes through, should get us into an isolated shower or storm and some patchy fog as well. Temperatures probably sneak up a few degrees by first thing tomorrow morning. Hey, speaking of tomorrow, Memorial Day, Monday, an isolated shower or storm is possible at any point of the day. It's going to be hot, it's going to be humid, high temperatures, record territory. Here's my 7-day. Official high for today, we'll call it 86 degrees. That's a good, 13, 14 degrees or so above average for this time of the year. Chance of an isolated afternoon shower or storm. A good chunk of the day, though, is probably going to end up dry. 65 for tonight. That may even sneak up a few degrees by first thing tomorrow morning with the warm front pushing through. An isolated shower or storm overnight. Hot and humid tomorrow. An isolated shower or storm at any point tomorrow for Memorial Day. 91. That would tie the record set back in 1911, and it would be the second time we hit 90 this year. First time was in mid-April. We're breezy and muggy on Tuesday. Scattered showers and storms, much more widespread with a cold front swinging through. 86 is a midday high. I think that drops off probably to the upper 70s by the end of the day. For Wednesday and Thursday, we're on the breezy side, a little cooler with temperatures in the 70s, a spotty sprinkle or light rain shower around. 69 for Friday, and Laura, it looks like we may get back into some beneficial rainfall starting later in the day Friday and persisting through Saturday. Of course, that's a little ways out in the 70, but I was noticing some consensus among 3 of our major models that we look at, so that could be a good thing. We could use the rainfall for sure. Speaking of rain, don't forget you can always track it right down to barbecue level mapping at cnycentral.com with our interactive Doppler radar.